So thank you very much. As we move into our last panel of the day. So what else, other than all of that stuff that we've seen already, what else have British Esports been up to this year? What's next for the industry? What's next for British Esports? How can you get involved in that? And how does the future of esports look on a global scale? Welcome our COO, Dave Martin.
Okay, I think I had the same problem last year, but a bit like me, I'll keep this short and sweet because it's 3:30 now. So I'll make you a promise. If you listen well, I'll get us out of here 10 or 15 minutes early, as it's Friday. So as Callum said, then I think there's a few things we want to do. Just a brief recap on 2022 because it was a kind of marquee year, I think, for British esports in general. We did so many incredible things. I think the standout moment would have been the Commonwealth Esports Championships, and we heard a little bit about that earlier from Emma and others when we were talking in that session. Multiple medals, I think five medals across the different events. I think we finished second, if I'm right, in the medals table. We did an incredibly good job. But what was important about that is that I actually stood up here, I think, about a month before. I think it was the end of June, so just 5 or 6 weeks before, and I talked about the legacy. And there's been some question of that, I think. You know, the BBC were quite keen to talk to us about, well, I thought we were going to get a full medal event in Victoria in 2026. I think what we can tell you is that will be more esports events in 2026. But these things take time, like natural sports. If you want to try and get a new sport into an Olympic cycle, it can take you 3 or 4 games. So we're on the right path. We did some incredible stuff with that, and we've got a kind of legacy opportunity. For those of you that saw any of the pictures or participated in the event, we only really wanted one thing, and that was the passion to represent your country, and just seeing that. And we saw tears of sadness and of happiness and all those incredible moments that kind of just justified what we did. So that was an incredible event for us. We also went to the Global Esports Games and won a silver medal in Street Fighter in Istanbul in December. It is worth just mentioning that our thoughts go out to Istanbul and everything's going on at the moment. I mean, it's just a very short passage of time, but you know, for us that event was a standout moment. In the inclusivity agenda, we've done some incredible work with women in esports in 2022. Billy joined us to lead that, and there'll be more on that a little bit later as well. I just want to make sure I don't cue what everyone's been telling me to do at the right time. So, and then of course our student champs and BTEC provision continue to grow, and our partnership with College of Esports has taken on. We've also been award-winning. A number of our team in differing roles have won different awards, so it just shows the effort and enthusiasm and skill of our people. So that was 2022. But I think we're all kind of looking at, well, what's 2023 got going down at this moment in time. Macro, on a global level, there's a few things happening at the moment. I think this medal-based convergence is going to happen more and more. We're going to see IOC Olympic Esports Week later this year. You're going to see a European Esports Games in Poland in June. And there is the Pan American Esports Championships that are going to happen, I think, in October of this year. So we're seeing more of that convergence. And then, of course, that will be kind of capped off with the Global Esports Games 2023 in December. Alongside that, I think you're going to see more in the kind of safeguarding and raising of standards. You'll see more in the coaching space through the Global Esports Academy and creating those safer spaces for young people to come and engage. So, and alongside that, sorry, just if I put my other hat on for a moment, it's an interesting time for esports teams right now. I think you're going to see some changes. I think if you take one lens on this ecosystem, you might see some negativity, because some of the big teams that have been invested in for a period of time, they're at a point now where one or two of them, maybe more, are going to struggle for a little while. And we're going to see one or two of them go. We're going to see some of them merge, and we're going to see new entrants to the market rise. The important thing to understand is that the number of gamers are increasing, the number of esports fans are increasing, so the opportunity is there. It's just about a reset of that ecosystem, which I think will be beneficial for all. Back here in the UK and British Esports, 2023 will certainly be our biggest year. We will, in the summer of this year, launch our National Esports Performance Campus in Sunderland. It's world leading in the sense that if you look around federations around the world, there's nobody who will have this kind of infrastructure that supports education, that supports talent development, and all of those things we've talked about, not just for players, but for shoutcasters and for production and all of those incredible things. And alongside having that wonderful facility that will be open, there's going to be further investment in the area to have other pieces of infrastructure that are going to underpin the campus and make it the success and the cluster that we know it can be. Coming back to the Commonwealth Esports Championships, I think this is really interesting. We're looking at a model of a Nations Cup. The feedback after the tournament was brilliant. When can we play again? How do we represent our country again? Where are the opportunities? So we sat down and said, okay, we think there's a really good opportunity here to create local heroes that become national heroes that then compete at a national level. So we're early stages of that at the moment, but it's a really exciting opportunity for us to kind of bring to you in the coming months. We're going to also make sure we drive more value to you, to those that participate in the champs, those that participate in our education programs. Callum and the team have been working incredibly hard at looking at what resources can we support you with, what advice, webinar sessions, what can we drive that is going to help you do your job even better than you do it now. So I think you're going to hear more in that space. And equally at that time, being kind of 7 years down the journey now, I think it's about time your students, you as teachers, the people that support the ecosystem start to get recognized. So it's been on our radar for about the last 18 months that we should be thinking about some kind of awards event, something that helps people really, for us really, we want to showcase that amazing work that you all do, and we want to find those incredible people and put them on the platform they deserve to be and showcase them. So you're going to hear later this year about award ceremonies that we'll be bringing to you from next year. I think we'll do more, or we'll certainly do more in inclusivity. We've done incredible work with women in esports. Billy came in and joined us middle of last year and has really taken that forward with the support of Alice and Bryony and Jasmine and the wonderful team, Board and Morgan, who's I think still here today. And we do have a little video actually, and Billy's created a message for us all. So if we could run that VT, please.
The team at Women in Esports were up for a variety of awards in 2022, picking up the most inclusive esports initiative at the Women in Game Awards, as well as nominated finalists for Aspiring Ally Organisation of the Year. The team at Women in Esports were up for a variety of awards in 2022, picking up the most inclusive esports initiative at the Women in Game Awards, as well as nominated finalists for Aspiring Ally Organisation of the Year at the Gamer Awards. Alice, our co-founder, was also a winner MCV Develop 30 Under 30, with our content manager Bryony being given an honourable mention. Women in Esports also provided more competitive opportunities for women and marginalised genders, such as our Valorant tournament Lioness Cup. What initially started as a 16-team bracket very quickly doubled to 32 teams due to a high volume of sign-ups. We had 2 broadcasts via Women in Esports and British Esports Twitch channels, which covered the action across the 2 days.
And what a perfect way to retake that round and keep this map somewhat.
In 2022, we hosted and put on the largely successful Valorant show match at I69, many saying it was the highlight of their weekend. The show match consisted of 1 women in esports staff member on each team, 1 women in esports community member, and 3 women who compete in Riot's official Game Changers circuit. I am pleased to say that 2 of the non-Game Changer players actually went on to compete in the next series after experiencing the show match. It was an impactful weekend for all involved and a highlight for women in esports in 2022.
Both teams, but I want to give a little bit of a moment to exactly not just was the fact that the operator was up on kind of on belt, good for the kind of crunch that comes in. The Rolling Thunder pushes people into line of sight of the operator too. That was so planned out.
Our committee had a complete reshuffle with a new chair, Morgan Ashurst, and vice chair, Millie Clay. We invited 7 new members to join us, widening our experience and network. We had a successful and collaborative in-person meeting at XL HQ in September, which helped shape our 2023 goals. 2022 saw a growth in our community, with over 550 new members joining our Discord, many who enjoy our community nights each Friday, where we all get together to play some casual games. We hosted an in-person Belong Community LAN event and an invite-only networking event at the Commonwealth Esports Championships. Our social media presence continues to grow as we shout out about diversity and inclusion.
And they find more now.
And finally, we finished the year off with a co-ed charity cup with Into the Breach, named Into Winter's Den, which raised £235 for British Ukrainian aid. To improve marginalised gender participation, a minimum of 3 out of 5 players had to identify as women or a marginalised gender on each team. To again highlight players, there were 2 broadcasts via Women in Esports and Into the Breach Twitch channels, which covered the action across the 2-day event.
Absolute chaos on the retake, but definitely Yogs holding it down so well and now actually picking up.
Okay, thanks. So look, so many incredible things we're doing, and there'll be many other things we do besides. And one of the great things about being COO is I get to watch our amazing team, incredibly skilled, talented, dedicated individuals who understand this ecosystem very, very well, work day in, day out to do amazing things. The list would go on and on. We certainly punch well above our weight. Now, to do this and to keep doing this and operating in a not-for-profit manner takes initiatives and it takes partnerships and support. And I think what you're going to see as we move through this year is more collaborations, more partnerships for British Esports. And we're hoping to announce our first ones in the coming weeks. So kind of look out for that. And that's going to allow us to turbocharge further the amazing work we do with you all. I just want to summarize then kind of my thoughts on the day, coming in and out of the sessions, talking to people, thinking about education in general. And, you know, we've looked at this space for a long period of time. I want to give an honourable mention to Tom Dorr, who I know has had to just kind of pop home. I say pop home, it's about 300 miles away. He's got to go home. He is a huge catalyst behind putting this all together. With the support of Gary and now with Callum on board. And I think it's worth recognising the effort that comes in from the whole team to kind of put this out there on the table. And we're very excited about where this is going to go. We're also really supportive of education at all levels. And what we saw today was FE and HE, and we saw grassroots, and we saw professional conversations. And that's really, really important, because the aspiration of somebody who comes in is somebody who is either looking for a career or wants to participate. And I think I take away from today some really interesting lessons, and they're things like student-led. You know, you hear that, and I've heard that on numerous occasions. When we think about that coming into the teacher conversation, the fact that they're already there and they're able to communicate what's happening and how it's going on it could be incredibly useful for teaching skills as they move forward. We heard really interesting conversations about how these roles can diversify into other roles, how getting into education and the outcome and the output isn't always the most essential thing. It's getting into learning. You know, for all of us that have been educators, we know how critical that is. I think something like 1 in 2 degrees that people study, they don't use in their professional careers. So learning is not just about the ticket at the end of it. It's about the journey and the experience and the value creation you get from meeting people and learning new things and the passions that you follow. And we believe that contextualized education around a passion point does create excitement, it creates better engagement, it creates better attention, and ultimately that's got to lead to a better result in the outcome. So we're huge fans of that. So for me, I think it's just left to offer a few very quick thanks. I think first and foremost, if you could just show your appreciation for Craig's wonderful team and Jin at Confetti, and really importantly, the students and staff who are behind this production, everything that's going on at the moment, and allowing us to have a wonderful day. So if we could just give them a quick round of applause. I think Callum equally comparing the day very, very well, keeping all of us to time. We're going to get out on time, which is always a result, especially on a Friday. But just in general, pulling all of this together for today and giving us this wonderful event. Thank you. And Elliot as well. I think for many of us, we know that he's there and he's around all of this, shepherding us, making sure we know what we're doing, when we're doing it, tapping us on the shoulder, saying you need to be here, you need to be doing that, sending out the emails, corralling the strategy together with the team. He's not been on stage this year, but he's been ever present and really important. So Elliot, thank you very much. I think, finally, to you, we don't exist, right, if we don't do this together, if we don't create these education programs, if the colleges, if the universities, if those other educational establishments, those that run the championships, those that give their time to us as well, the volunteers, our advisory board that are wonderful and really, really skilled. It's a real collective that we have here. And of course, we must mention Chester, who is our founder and CEO, who is up in Sunderland at this moment in time, having a series of meetings to make sure that everything is on time for summer of 2023 with the NEPC. But I just want to thank you most of all for driving this on, because it's you that has the conversations with SLT. It's you that actually has the conversations with the IT people about, let's find a way around this, let's work, making the business cases. Tell us what you need from us. How do we help you better? And we'll do everything we can. So finally, thank you, and I'll hand back to Callum.
Wow, thank you very much. A busy year and lots to come, I think. Very, very exciting. So that brings the 2023 Esports and Education Summit to a close. We hope you've enjoyed the event as much as we have. We've absolutely loved it. Please take the time to leave us your reflections and feedback and comments in the post-event survey, which we'll send out. It'll only take you a couple of minutes, and it's really valuable to us. Thank you so much to everybody for attending today's event. And again, I just have to echo the wonderful staff and students that have supported us today, and our amazing panellists and hosts from our sessions. In terms of what's next and what's coming, it's the weekend. It's Friday. All right, so enjoy your weekends. Have a very, very safe journey home. Tell all your friends about it. We want to see you and them again next year. We have another amazing event coming up soon, which will be at Bet Show from the 29th to the 31st of March, where as British Esports, we're really proud to be hosting the Esports Zone again at Bet. It's free, so if you want more content and amazing sessions like you've had today, please come down for those 3 days. We hope to see you then. If not, we'll see you again soon. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you very, very much.